Welcome to Study Medicine. Study Medicine provides information about 59 Australian university degree paths to becoming a doctor. Study Medicine enables you to identify, research, compare and determine how and when to apply for all the degrees that lead to medicine in Australia. It does this by providing comprehensive information, firstly to enable you to identify all the degrees that lead to medicine using a unique visual summary. You can then research each one of these degrees at a detail level, including obtaining information such as the criteria to obtain an interview, the criteria to obtain a place, and so on and so forth. Once you have that information about how all of the degrees work in Australia, including degrees that lead to degrees in postgraduate medicine programs, you can compare those degrees on a side-by-side basis in order to identify the right path for you to apply for to maximise your chance of being accepted into medicine in Australia. And finally, once you know which degrees you want to apply for, Study Medicine provides information about all of the deadlines that apply for all degrees in Australia for the next month. So why is this important? Well, you already know that medicine is highly competitive, with, for example, the University of New South Wales last year receiving 2,593 applications for just 189 places, giving local students just a 6% chance of acceptance. So Study Medicine can help you understand all the degrees that lead to medicine in Australia, as well as degrees that lead from undergraduate medicine into postgraduate medicine, and this information is provided at both a summary level for all universities in Australia that have a medical program and at a detail level. In this video, I'm going to show you how Study Medicine works as it pertains to Macquarie University's medicine program at a summary level. So here we are in Study Medicine looking at Macquarie University's medicine degree. So Macquarie University's medicine school is a postgraduate medicine school, and that means that it has postgraduate degree programs that are based on full fee paying students. So let's have a look at how this information actually works. The first part of Study Medicine shows the available degree paths to medicine at the university. And at Macquarie there's three paths. The first path is through the Bachelor of Clinical Science, which is known as the direct entry path, and this is available for international students. The second path is also through the Bachelor of Clinical Science, but this is for domestic students, and this path is known as the indirect path, and I'm going to show you why that is in a moment. The third path, like most postgraduate medicine programs, uses undergraduate medicine pathways through to that degree, and that path is known as the undergraduate or postgraduate degree path at Macquarie. The next part of Study Medicine shows how selection at that university actually works. And the way it works at Macquarie is that for students coming through the Bachelor of Clinical Science direct entry path, there are a number of requirements that they have to go through. First of all, they have to have an unconditional place in the Bachelor of Clinical Science degree. They have to complete the Bachelor of Clinical Science program with a GPA of at least 5.5, and they also have to achieve this same GPA level for the professional practice units. For students coming through the indirect Bachelor of Clinical Science path and through the undergraduate or postgraduate degree path, they basically have to go through a two-stage process. The first part of that process, the students need to submit a personal statement, and then Macquarie use the personal statement to work out rankings for students who are going to be offered an interview, and that ranking is then based on the student's GPA and GAMSAT. For those students that then go through to the interview, their place is determined in the medical program by 50-50, their interview score and their GAMSAT score. So this brings us to the degree path summary for Study Medicine, which is the heart of how Study Medicine works. The visual degree path summary works on standard colours and symbols, with purple rectangles representing high school attributes, diamonds, coloured diamonds representing undergraduate degree attributes, and blue ovals representing postgraduate degree attributes. And you can see the three paths to Macquarie Medicine described here. So, as we saw before, the direct international path to medicine goes through a fairly standard process from high school. You need an ATAR of 95. There's no subject prerequisites, and I'll go through that in a moment. Once students have got the required attributes to go through into the Bachelor of Clinical Science degree, they basically can then go through into medicine on a couple of provisos. First of all, they have to go through an interview, and then, as I said before, their progression through into medicine is based on their GPAs, both in the Clinical Sciences degree and in the professional practice units. So studying medicine is really important in that you could read through all of this information, but it's really hard to comprehend how it actually works in reality until you can see the degrees shown on a side-by-side basis. So what does this degree path summary really show? Well, for a start, you can see the differences in ATAR between paths 1, paths 2 and paths 3, which makes perfect sense when you understand how Macquarie Medicine's program works. The second thing that I particularly wanted to show is where selection takes place. So you can see here the difference between going through path 1 is that the key selection period is when you go through from high school into the Bachelor of Clinical Sciences degree, and then of course if you go well through the Bachelor of Clinical Sciences degree, you basically go straight through into medicine. However, if you're going through paths 2 or paths 3, first of all you have to have the right attributes to be accepted into the Bachelor program, whether that be the Bachelor of Clinical Sciences program or whether that be a university degree path through any other degree. So you have to go through the standard ATAR selection process going from high school, but to get into medicine, the key attribute or the key selection period is going, of course, from the bachelor degree through into the Doctor of Medicine degree, and as I said before, that's based on your interview performance and on your GAMSAT. The third thing I particularly wanted to point out is in the case of Macquarie University, they say that you only need assumed knowledge in maths and chemistry, meaning that those subjects aren't prerequisites. And the way I've depicted that is to put an asterisk, particularly with regard to maths, because the maths is not a prerequisite because Macquarie does provide an option of completing a bridging course prior to commencement, and that's why maths can either be done at school, high school, or can be done as a bridging program. So that takes you through the way the visuals degree summary pathway works in study medicine. The important qualification here is, of course, information can always change, so make sure you check with the university to ensure that you have the most up-to-date information before making any decisions. So where to from here? Well, that takes you through the degree path summary in study medicine. You can either sign up and do that by going through to the information in study medicine that relates to the pricing information. Study medicine works on a subscription basis, so if you're interested in accessing study medicine information, feel free to go through the pricing information. If you need more information, go over to the free trial and you can see Macquarie University's medicine program depicted at a detail level, and there's also information about the deadline listing for application deadlines for the next month. So thanks very much for listening. As always, I wish you a successful journey along your path to becoming a doctor.